Hey friends, this is Courtney and welcome to the Incessant Bookworm. So today I am filming on a Monday and I have the day off. So I took a sick day because I had a dentist appointment and an eye doctor's appointment. So first off, the eye doctor, I have been kind of having some issues, not terrible, seeing, which would make sense of why I went to the eye doctor's, but I haven't been in like years. So it was time to go. But just having a pair of glasses that I put on occasionally, whenever I drive sometimes, and when I'm watching TV sometimes, and when I play volleyball. So what I've noticed lately is when I play volleyball, it's hard for me to see the other person serving on the other side of the net, and then that affects the way that I pass the ball when I play defense, because it's harder for me to see the ball when it comes to me until it's right on top of me, because I am nearsighted. So went and talked to them, the eye doctor, and found that yes, I do need to change my prescription of my glasses, but it doesn't necessarily help me on the court because I don't wear glasses on the court. So I might need to wear like special sports glasses or goggles. Not crazy about that idea, but I'll have to see what my other options are. Have never worn contacts, nervous to put things in my eyes. LASIK, I don't think I'm at that point where I need that. So that's just a whole thing. So yeah, that's been my Monday so far. Also, where I go to these different appointments is where I work, but because I work remotely now, that is now an hour away. So it was just a lot to drive up there and get these appointments done and then drive back. So it's already like midday and half the work day is already over. I probably could have just taken a half day, but it's fine. It's gloomy, it's rainy. I want to be warm and cozy. I want to make a cup of tea after I film this video and read. But I definitely want to show you what books that I got. So this video is going to be focused on a book haul. So I went to the book Loft this weekend. Yay! I will have a bookstore tour video ready, but I want to do a little bit something different editing wise with that video, so that is not going to be ready for a few weeks just yet, but I definitely wanted to show you what I got and purchased while I was at the book Loft. So the book Loft, if you haven't heard of it, is a independent bookstore in Columbus, Ohio. So it's about an hour and a half north of where I live, and it has 32 rooms of books, and they are like discounted bargain books, new for the most part, and then other kind of like stationery kind of things, clothing items, minimal, and then like bags and other fun souvenir type stuff. It's also located in the German Village neighborhood of Columbus, Ohio. So just beautiful, like cobblestone, brick kind of streets, and just a really beautiful building. I don't remember what the building was before it became a bookstore. But as you'll see in the tour that I'll post up here later, it has like fun little nooks and crannies and like twists and turns to get you into different types of rooms or things you could imagine as rooms back in the day. I'll probably have to look to see when it was built and or converted to a bookstore, but I think they've tried to keep the essence of what it was beforehand and not having too much renovation done to it to keep its charm, as well as kind of like the historic part of it being in the German Village. So let's show what I've got. So when I go book shopping, I don't usually have a plan, and that is very weird for me because I am such a planner. I like having like a grocery list when I go to the grocery store, my list of stuff when I'm buying birthday gifts or Christmas gifts and doing all that holiday shopping. But when it comes to books, I kind of let them speak to me, where it comes to the cover looks appealing to me, or just the title looks interesting. Like I don't have I need to get these books, because I feel like I get disappointed sometimes if they're not available. Kind of like when I go clothes shopping, I hate having to buy a specific item because it may not be the right style I was looking for, the right color, they don't have my size. I try on a bunch of stuff I'm excited about and then none of it fits. So, and then I just leave like mad and buy food or candy or something else that wasn't initially there, especially at Target. But when I go bookstore shopping, kind of like the same thing. I don't want to have too much of a plan. But this time around I did because they're fairly popular books and I assumed that they would have them there. And as you'll see what I purchased, some of them were, yes, like ones I had on my list, and one was an impulse buy, so because I just couldn't help myself and I wanted the book. So here we go. First book I have is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I don't like, I'm afraid to peel off the sticker because it's gonna like leave a mark, but I also don't like the sticker there. I'm also not a fan. Oh, I might be able to peel this Netflix one off too, because yes, I've seen the film on Netflix, but try to ignore that. It's still a pretty looking book. But this follows Laura Jean Covey. If you haven't heard of the trilogy before, the first two movies of the adaptation are on Netflix. It follows Laura Jean Covey as a bunch of love letters she's written throughout her life up until high school have gotten released into the world, sent to these boys, and she kind of has to figure out what to do from there. As one of the boys that she was in love with dated her sister, another boy dates one of her older best friends, or like ex-best friends. So what happens there with that result? So super cute, loved it, and just like a fun, quick read. So this was my impulse buy, because I've read the series before, but I've always borrowed the books or listened to them on audiobook, but I wanted my own copy. Maybe I'll get the other two, I'm not sure, but definitely the original, I wanted to have that. Next I have Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and this I've seen on Beth at Books Nest's channel so many times, and this was recommended to her, I believe, from Frolic Through Fiction and Fiction Tea, those other accounts on Instagram, and I think they have booktube channels too. But this was kind of advertised to me or told to me in those reviews and videos that it's kind of like a YA Game of Thronesy kind of story where no character is safe, and that I think is right up my alley, because I love the Game of Thrones series. I've only read the first book, but I've seen the TV series and loved it. But it's quite dense and a lot of like violence and like bigger war and battle kind of things going on. But this has a little bit, I believe, some like sci-fi elements in there too, which I think would be pretty interesting. So this, I believe, is also a series. I don't know how many books are in it, but I definitely wanted to give the first book a chance, and if that goes well, I will move forward with getting the rest of the series. So I also love that cover too, and it's a nice floppy paperback, so can't go wrong with that. Next I have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this I have seen on, I believe it's called the Late Night Book Club, with Joel from Fictional Fates and two other booktubers I can't remember, but I follow Joel mainly. But they did this as their first book club read for the month of September, I want to say. And then I've seen it on a bunch of other bookstagrammers and booktubers channels as well. But this follows I believe, a journalist or a ghostwriter that is trying to get a scoop or a story about Evelyn Hugo, and then Evelyn works with her to write like a memoir or like a novel or something about her life, and you kind of learn more and dig into her past a little bit. So I thought that could be interesting. Plus I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's work. I've read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I plan to read some of her other books too that have been backlisted. I think she has One True Loves was a backlist one, and then there's another one coming out next year. So she has just exploded onto the scene when it comes to publishing and writing. So I want to read some of her other books before I read Daisy Jones and the Six. So that's that one. Next I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and this has been one of the most talked about books, especially on Twitter in the last few months, and of course I needed to read it to figure out what people were talking about and why there's been such a discussion around it. But this is part of a trilogy, and I've seen this also with people doing reading vlogs, so I think this might be a contender for what I do for a reading vlog. So I haven't seen any of them, so I think, or at least how I'm going to approach it, is they vlog about their experience, and when they hit different parts in the book that are surprising or like a plot twist or whatever, they'll kind of talk about it in their vlog and then put together the whole video of like the different moments that they've experienced while reading it. But I've heard this is a good one to do that for, because there's a lot of twists and like shocking moments and heartbreak apparently. But this has, at least what I've heard with the different conversations, it has a lot of Asian culture and issues having to do with the continent or the countries within Asia, and like some truths of historical fiction that have been occurring in those countries of that continent, and race as well. So I'm interested to see more about like the social issues in this novel. Even though it is a science fiction fantasy, it has elements of truth in it, so I like when writers are able to bring in their experience or some parts of history to make it relevant and to kind of give a bigger picture of what's going on in a kind of like fictional kind of sense. So excited to read this too. This is also, I can't remember if I mentioned this, also a trilogy, but again, I'll read the first one and then decide from there if I want to purchase the rest or read them on audio or through the library. I think the third one, Burning Gods, is not available yet, but maybe that'll be one I'll put on my wish list, who knows. Next we have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. So this was Sally Rooney's book she wrote before Normal People, and I loved Normal People. I loved the book, I loved the Hulu and BBC adaptation, absolutely phenomenal, wonderful, wonderful writing. But I've heard that people are either like, I've loved Conversation with Friends and hated Normal People, or hated Conversation with Friends and loved Normal People. So I don't want to go into this thinking I'm not going to like it, because that's sad and like, what is it, self-fulfilling prophecy? Like, don't want that to happen. But I want to just read more from her. Like, I just love her writing style. And I think, I don't know, like either way, like I think it'll be a good read. It's just maybe the preference of which one I would like better, but I don't know. Reading is reading, even if you don't like it, like it's still, you're gonna have an opinion about it, and that sparks good conversation. I didn't mean to do that. Does that happen to anybody else, where you feel that you like say the title or something in the context of what you're talking about and you didn't mean to? I feel like that happens to me all the time, but anyway. Conversation with Friends, Sally Rooney, I'll give it a go. The next thing I got from the book Loft, not necessarily, well, it could be book related, but it isn't a book. It is this postcard, note card kind of thing with the title Ikigai. So that's a Japanese term meaning a reason for being, the reason to get up in the morning, the purpose one lives for. And this term I'd heard of back in my first entry-level job right out of grad school. One of my students that I supervised at the university that I worked at had brought this up as like a staff meeting, professional development kind of thing. So we did this exercise around like what our personal Ikigai is and what our purpose is. And I can't remember what I wrote down, but I've been thinking about this a lot, of like the bigger picture of life and like what we were meant to do, what we want to do with our lives, to add meaning and fulfillment to like why we get up in the morning. So I don't know, like lately I've been thinking about books being that reason, and like putting out book content. So I don't know, I thought it was like very intentional or timely that I picked this up. So I might put this in a frame. I might just stand it up on my desk and like look at it every day when I go to work or work from my desk at home. So I don't know, I thought that was very cute, timely, appropriate. Not something I was looking for, obviously, when I went into the store, but just spoke to me. So non-bookish item. So although the Book Loft has 32 rooms of books, there were a couple on my list that I was not able to find, and I did ask the bookstore employees and staff members if they could locate it for me, and I guess the good thing was that they were sold out. It's not as if they never had the books to begin with, so must mean they're popular. But I did have to stop at Joseph Beth. I didn't have to, but I was like on a mission that I wanted these books, so nothing was stopping me. So on my way home from Columbus to Cincinnati, I stopped at Joseph Beth bookstores, which is another independent bookstore that has like 3 different locations in this area. I believe one is in Lexington or Louisville area, but they did have the books that I wanted, so I'll show you what those are. First one is Notes from a Small Island by Bill Bryson, and this is a travel memoir collection of this gentleman who was a journalist in America. So he's an American citizen born in the US and moves to England for 20 years, so 2 decades, and started a family there. They ended up moving back to, I believe it was New Hampshire, for a small stint after those 20 years, and then I think they now live back in England. So any book about England and living there, I am all about, but I've been trying to dive into more travel writing, since that's a genre I want to experience writing myself, not necessarily for National Novel Writing Month next month or NaNoWriMo, but maybe in the future as I travel and have my unique perspective on things, and my own like twist of what I experience. So this I definitely wanted to read to get his take on some of like the touristy things, which like I'm a fan of course. Like I want to learn about like the history history and stuff like that, but also like the things off the beaten path, where a native or somebody who lives full-time in that area or that location would experience. So I think that's going to have a mix of that in this book, and I'm very excited about it. And last but not least, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So this is my second V.E. Schwab book that I've gotten in the last couple of weeks, and this one I definitely wanted. And I was surprised that Book Loft didn't have it, but I think because it is so popular, like, it's not surprising that they didn't have it, but just Beth did as like one of their best-selling books, or like the front display is like right when you walk in the door, so obviously it was like right in your face. So this I am very excited about. So this follows Addie LaRue, who I believe she is forgotten about, like when she meets people, she is then forgotten about like when she leaves or like the next day, but then somebody remembers her, and they build a relationship of some sort. So I don't know, this has gotten a lot of hype recently, so maybe this is one that I'll do a reading vlog on. I'm not sure. I guess I don't know if people will be reading vlogged out or reviewed out of this book, so maybe I should wait a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna read it eventually. This might be one of my December reads, since next month is NaNoWriMo, and I'm gonna be dedicating most of that time to writing during the free time that I have after work and when I'm not playing volleyball. So maybe this will be December or early January, not sure. So super excited about this. Yes, I am. Anyway, that was my haul from this weekend. I'm very excited to put together the bookstore tour, because that's kind of the thing I want to do moving forward with this channel, when I'm able to travel to different bookstores and kind of highlight ones that I think are great and would love to have people support, especially as we get into the holiday season, the gift giving season. Not that I'm like anti-Amazon, but I definitely want to be able to support local bookstores and the resources that we have in the community that we're a part of. So I'll definitely be doing more of that. Also, I did mention it's cold. I don't know if you heard any time during this video, but I have my space heater on. I'm one of those people that doesn't like turning their heat on until Thanksgiving, which is late November here in the United States. I don't know, it's just a thing I grew up with just trying to save energy, or save electricity, enjoy the windows and their fresh air as much as possible. I don't have the windows open right now, but I'm like, as soon as I turn the heat on, then it's like, ugh, that's it. Like, we're in for the winter, like buckling down, not really going anywhere more than we have been not going anywhere until like springtime. So like, I am anti turning heat or air conditioning on until like I have to. So the space heater is only like temporary while I film this video, and then I'll go curl up with a blanket on my couch and read or something. So that is what you hear, if you do hear that at all. Otherwise, I am going to go drop off my ballot for my absentee ballot at my Board of Elections. I'm not sure, I really want a sticker. Is that sad? That's not the only reason I vote. Obviously, there's much bigger things going on besides getting a sticker. That's not even that big. But I just feel like that's like a sense of pride when you get a sticker. So not sure if that happens when I drop off my ballot through like the Dropbox area, but I will be notified of like its progress as it's been processed and stuff as I like track it. And I was talking to my mom about this because in New Jersey, where I'm originally from, they mail out, once their mail-in ballots or your absentee ballots have been processed, they mail you a sticker. And I'm like, what? I want that to happen. Like, can that be a thing, Ohio? Not sure. Maybe they already have that going on. Who knows? But if you haven't already and you plan to, please go out and vote. Very important in general. Just like know the entire ticket, not just the major president and vice president part of the ballot, but also like local issues and Congress and House of Rep kind of pieces there too. So make sure you're looking at all the tickets information and following the instructions if you are choosing to be absentee or mail-in. So make sure you look at that. Besides that, I am probably going to go sometime this week and find a new pair of glasses. When I went into the eye doctors today, they were like, how long have you had these glasses? And I didn't have an answer because it's been so long, probably since grad school or before grad school, when I went with my mom for the first time to get an eye exam, and like my life was changed by like how all this stuff works and buying my first pair of glasses and all that. So that has been my first pair that I currently have. So I think it's time for a new one. So maybe on Instagram, I will share with you all like my final pick or ask you to vote or something, because like, I don't know, I don't consider myself very stylish. Like I have very minimal expectations when it comes to style of things that I purchase, as long as it fits and looks somewhat decent. Like, I'm not too picky, so maybe y'all can help me figure that out. That would be really helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also just like having me blab about all this other random stuff. I don't know if that's what you're looking for with random videos I put up on here. I like to put a little bit more of my personality and just let you into my life a little bit more besides just the books that I'm reading. So feel free to comment down below or like this video if you liked it. Feel free to subscribe so you can see more videos like this, and my bookstore video coming up next week or the week after that. Very excited to get that out and into your hands, especially if you haven't seen the book Loft or just missed having that bookstore experience. You can live it through me. If you haven't already followed me on Instagram or Twitter, head over there as well, since I post extra bookish content that you won't find here. And if you'd like to support this channel or me or this blog in a different kind of way, I've listed my Ko-fi page and my Amazon wish list below in the comments or the description box. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and happy reading.